Hey, how's the video quality? It looked a little blurry when I first joined in.
It's not bad. It's probably about the same that that Matt's running with his quality. I have like this giant window right by mine, so it washes out my face as well. So
Okay.
it's not too big of a deal.
Okay,
Uh,
because I do Zoom, well, I do Teams meetings all day for work. So like I usually don't have a problem, but I logged into Zoom and it was like super blurry. So it's like
gotcha.
hopefully I don't have some booty connection here.
All right. Well, I do want to go ahead and just get started by kind of letting you introduce yourself. But I will go ahead and share and then try to get Instagram pulled up so we can take a look at your Insta here, brother.
Awesome.
Let's see.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh yeah, of course, brother. I appreciate you taking the time. This is obviously something new for me as well with podcasting in general. So this is like a whole new experience. I don't know what it's doing here. Whole new experience for me personally. So, but I mean, as much as like guys like yourself and I that are like totally engulfed in this bodybuilding world, and
Yeah,
we all have our own opinions. I think it's something that you can always make content out of something.
for
So
sure. For sure.
um,
I love it. I love
yeah.
it.
I appreciate you taking the time, but if you want to do a little rundown about yourself, and then we can go ahead and kind of take a peek at your Instagram here, brother.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Hunter Killian, classic physique competitor, turning 25 here in March, actually. So the birthday's coming up, but live out here in central Indiana by Indianapolis. And yeah, just been come from a bodybuilding family. Both my parents are IFBB pros. So been around the sport for a while and just trying to make my way through the ranks. So
Heck yeah, brother. Yeah,
yeah.
man. Hunter, and it's funny enough, I'm gonna kind of give a little rundown. Hunter and I had met actually through Brad, his dad, who's my coach. Hunter has an incredible physique. For those who don't know, he's from
Thank you.
Indiana, homegrown. All right, can you see it now?
Let's see, it's loading real quick. There we go. Perfect. Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good
All good.
deal. So yeah, this was the look here at the Mid American Classic, and this look here, man, was just absolutely killer. You were diced to the bone. You're blasting full, and I mean this is a gnarly gnarly shot here, dude. I love it.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
man. So this is your backstage look, and you work with Cameron Cheek, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I've been working with Cameron Cheek now since October of 2020. Let's see, 2024.
2024.
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
So
so a little bit over a year now. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. A huge blessing getting connected with him. And it's funny you say, we got connected through my dad. Me and Cameron got connected through my dad as well.
nice.
Um, Cameron actually coached my dad through his last show at the Atlanta Pro. And I just saw what he had done with my dad in terms of peaking and being able to bring in a large stature guy. I'm 6'5", my dad's 6'3", and seeing what he was able to do with my dad. Contest prep has had historically always been the area that I had struggled with, just getting in true contest shape.
Mhm.
And so after seeing what he did with my dad, I'm like, I got to try this out for myself. And it was safe to say I came in peeled for sure. And I was really proud of the look we were able to bring. So
Definitely. And Cameron's one of those coaches that's really highly regarded,
yeah,
not only with the look that he brought for you, but all his other competitors, especially Antoine coming into his own this
yeah,
year. He got himself an Olympia qualification with Cameron. So that goes to kind of tell you the type of coach that he is, where he's really on point with his guys. Um, what is
yeah.
something that, like with Cameron, that you really fell in line with? Like, I know that you said this is your first year with him, but this was also your first contest prep. So, what was something that you would kind of take away that is a little bit different from previous coaching experiences or previous preps?
Yeah, I think Cameron is just so methodical and detailed, and that truly shines when his competitors are in contest prep. Not to say that that level of detail isn't needed in the off season, because it absolutely is in order to make that progress. But with how methodical and detailed he is, in his contest prep plans, and especially during peak week,
Mm-hmm.
there's a sense of assurance and just relief and almost just a huge cortisol drop in knowing that your coach knows what he's doing. He's making the right calls. It's funny. There's a story from when he was coaching my dad where he was taking a look at him backstage and he was kind of analyzing everything they had done throughout the day. And he was just like, hey, I need to take a second, go in the hallway and just like think about this. And I think that story is so cool because most coaches maybe already have an idea of like what they want to do. Like he truly took the time and like went into a quiet room and just sat and like almost meditated over what decision he wanted to do. So he's just very methodical, very analytical. And I really saw that come to play, in my own contest prep. So it's always nice to have someone like that
in your corner, especially someone that's like open to admit, like, well, hang on, I'm gonna go take a second to think about this and then come back and not only take that time to do it, but to provide the look as well that you're looking for on stage. And that's something that I think Brad's done well with his coaching with me, that he's kind of taken away, and something that definitely shows with your physique. This is the transformation from April at 305 to December at 255 with that 252 weight cap. So just slightly over, but is this like the 255 right here on the right side?
Yeah. So I think, obviously we had to make weight.
Of course.
And
right.
It was actually 253 weight cap, but it was 252 the year prior. And then I got another pound. So I think he was referring to the old weight cap, but we had to come in at 253. And then this was, after we had started to eat and drink a little bit. So obviously, this was after check-ins. This was actually, I think, right before stage.
Killer look.
Was this at the Mid-American?
Yeah, Mid-American. You could tell by the
right before we got on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a killer look for you guys. And then to not only come into the Mid-American, just slam the door shut, but then to go to nationals for your first national show and to put on a package like this, landing yourself in the first call out and really making a name for yourself out there. It's pretty remarkable, man. What were some takeaways that you took from that was different from the Mid-American to nationals, and this being your first national show as well?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because I had my sights very clearly set on getting a pro card. Like that was the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I had so much pressure on myself for the Mid-American Winter Classic to get that qualification. And then I'm like, okay, now we got to go to nationals and pro card, this is the year, right? So I think the biggest takeaway I had was actually how okay I was and how grateful I was to not get the pro card. It was funny because as soon as I got called out to the first call out, I was like, okay, now I know I belong with the top guys. Right. And then once I got moved to the outside and I didn't move, I'm very objective with my physique, and I very much understand that I need more time in order to get that pro card. Mm-hmm. So I got off stage and I was actually just super overwhelmed with gratitude and just a sense of accomplishment. I was so happy with what I had brought because I knew it was my absolute best. And I think that was really shocking because I did put a lot of pressure on myself because I am, flirting with my weight cap. Right. I'm like, this has to be the year that I go pro, right? If I want to continue to make improvements. And, I think just being able to step off that stage and not hold my head down was a huge takeaway for me. And, just understanding that I'm still so young in this sport and I need time.
24, not even 25, 24, not even 25 years old for a package like this, man. And to put up that type of fight in nationals as well for your first showing, I mean, that's definitely something to be really proud of, that look. And especially for you or Cameron's first year, doing a peak and a prep like that, so really remarkable. And I apologize. The sun just beamed right.
No, you're good.
So,
you're good.
Might be squinting a little bit, but yeah, this was an incredible showing for you. And then Cameron, just hearing that that's the kind of coach that he is and the kind of guy that he really puts his athletes first. That's really awesome to kind of hear.
Absolutely.
And that was, So what place did you land exactly at this show here?
Yeah. So for the first call outs, they brought out 7 guys and I got 6th. So yeah, ended up in 6th place. For those who don't know, nationals was top 2, got pro card. And, like I said, it's funny because I had so many people leading up to prep telling me, man, you're too big for classic. You need to go open. I'm like,
Right.
God, you
All those
don't.
guys in your ear talk.
I'm like, you don't understand. These classic guys they're big, they're dense, but they're
Mhm.
perfectly proportioned to the point where they can make a weight cap. And so my feedback from the judges was just, Steve Weinberger actually told me, I kind of cracked up when he gave me the feedback. He goes, his New York accent, he's like, "You're just a baby." He's like, "You need more." He's like, "You need more time," and he's
Right.
like, "Just density." So
I mean,
there's
this
really no
looks
area.
and
Yeah.
you fit in, man. I mean, you
Thank
fit
you.
in without a doubt. And this is something that you have some really high quality guys. Even when Brad and I had discussed the national lineup, like we
Yeah.
were talking, and we were like, this is really like one of the deeper national shows that it's really been in years. I mean, we see
Yeah.
the top guys come out, and we're like, okay, that could be a pro physique, it could be pro ready. Sometimes you need a little bit more in the back, you need a little bit more of this or that. This year, it just felt like it's just a matter of the peak. That's
Yeah.
really what it felt like with a lot of these guys. I felt like everyone was pro ready, including yourself. Like you really have a great physique in that sense. And yeah, man. So I mean, this call out, you fit right in. You could even make an argument for even sneaking in there a little bit closer to the center. But regardless,
Yeah.
this is really exciting for you to for your first national show to be placing that high and to be within those regards of that top six in your class. So that's pretty remarkable and really awesome to hear that you had gratitude stepping off the stage, because
Yeah.
you are right. Like a lot of times you see competitors kind of step off stage, and if they don't get what that first place or that pro card or whatever it might be, they kind of hang their head low. And heck, I've even been a guy of that. I
Yeah.
think it was my second show or my third show ever where I placed third in my class, and I was hanging my head real low. But sometimes it's just a matter of getting through the prep.
Yeah.
And that's really the hardest part for a lot of people. Speaking of
Absolutely.
which, for your prep this year, did you have any sort of any sort of obstacles or challenges that you faced that you don't mind sharing, or anything that you felt that really made prep a little bit more difficult, but were able to nail it out?
Yeah, so it's funny you ask me that, and this is going to make for some boring content, but I can give
That's
some context as to why. This was the smoothest prep of my entire life. There is not a
nice.
single aspect of it that I could say, yeah, it got really hard here, and I had to, tighten the bootstraps and grind through. That was just not the case. Like, this prep felt effortless. It honestly didn't even get hard
Wow.
until the last couple weeks. It was a completely different prep than what I had in years past. The fat was just kind of falling off.
Nice.
I was having these, just huge refeeds, consecutive days on end.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I remember
think
seeing
this,
you at 10 weeks out. You were looking
yeah,
really peeled, man.
yeah. And for someone that had never gotten in true contest shape before, it was surprising because like I had glute lines at, 8 weeks out. So I'm like, this is new territory for me. But, in years past, like, I did my first show at 21, I was in college. So I was obviously, having to deal with, going through classes and ensuring I was
Mm-hmm.
staying on top of my work. Same thing with my second show. My second show was actually at the very end of my last semester of college. So I was dealing with graduation and
Wow.
finals and,
Yeah, that's tough.
doing
That's a
all
lot of
that.
challenges there.
Yeah. So this prep was the first time where I actually had some stability in my life. I have a career that I'm doing well in. I'm in a house close to home. Me and
Nice.
my fiance are doing great and, preparing for our wedding this year. And so it's
Yeah,
just like,
congratulations on that behalf as well,
thank
buddy.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congrats to you as well. We got your wedding coming up here soon.
Yeah,
So
yeah, here soon. Yep. It's
yeah.
crazy. Time's flying, man. It's feels
Oh,
like it's right around the corner. It really is. So
yeah.
but
So,
that's
but yeah,
awesome, man. That's awesome to hear that prep's kind of going went that smooth for you.
yeah,
And that's something that a lot of people, there's always challenges, different challenges throughout prep, and that's something that if you can avoid it in like the optimal scenario like that,
yeah,
that's definitely something to take away. And
for
then I've
sure.
noticed as well that you've been posting a little bit more content. So is that something that
Yeah,
you're hoping to do here in 2026? Is get more content out for you?
yeah, absolutely. It's something that people around me have always told me I need to take more seriously. And I'm a bodybuilder through and through.
Mm-hmm.
It was never my intention to get into this sport to be an influencer or anything like that. I love the day in and day out of being a bodybuilder, but I also know that there's some value to, being able to, share my story and, share tips and tricks I've learned along the way. And also just like, show people my personality.
Oh yeah,
I
right.
like to think I'm more than just a bodybuilder. And
Always,
um,
yeah.
so yeah, I've been doing some informational stuff, some updates, just some fun content, post workout pumps, stuff like that. So
Right.
I'm just trying to find my groove, see what my kind of lane is as far as social media goes. But yeah,
Nice. Well, that's awesome to see. And like I said, I personally love looking at the content and love watching you grow,
thank you.
not only as a bodybuilder, but as a person, like you just said, we're all a bit more than bodybuilders here,
Yeah,
and that's something that with even this podcast that I'm really hoping to
yeah,
still, elaborate a bit more on for people. Cause we all just think that, like, especially like the outsiders that don't know much about bodybuilding, you just see a
yeah,
guy with big muscle and just think no brains, almost
yeah,
instantly. I feel like
yeah,
that's kind of the motto we get. But there's really a lot of not only smart individuals in this sport, but a lot of
yeah,
caring and a lot of hardworking individuals in all facets of life. So
absolutely.
that is quite awesome to hear. And then I do have this post pulled up here, as you can see, the improvement
Yeah.
season 2026. Do you want to go ahead and touch on your guys' plan, kind of moving forward here?
Yeah. So, immediately getting off stage, like I said, I'm very objective with myself. If anything, I'm probably too hard on myself when it comes to, judging my physique. If you ask me, I always say I'm always going to point out the negative before the positive, which I know
Right.
isn't a great thing, but it's something I'm working on, and I'm just a competitor. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually talked to my fiance even before these shows, and I was like, hey, I'm going into these shows with the intent of getting a pro card, but if I don't, what do you think we should do? And she's like, you just need to talk to Cameron.
Yeah.
And so, when that happened, once I realized I was not in the fighting for a pro card, to some degree, I think really the top three is, top three, maybe top four are really the only ones that are going to be competing for that top two spot. But
Right.
I got off stage and I asked Cameron, I'm like, look, we're not in a great time in terms of shows. The closest show would be the Arnold
Mm-hmm.
Amateur if we want to try again. I
Right.
was like, or we're gonna have to wait till 2027 because I'm like I mentioned, I'm getting married next year. I'm
Right.
not going to do these late shows. I'm not going to be in prep, up until my wedding. It's just, that
Yeah.
time's meant for my fiance and for myself. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Definitely.
when I told him all that, he's like, you know what? Let's just go into an off season. Let's take the year. Let's improve, add the density that we need, and we'll attack the national circuit early in 2027. So, what
Nice.
show that may that's going to be, I don't know. I know there's some May, June, July time frame.
Yeah. Right.
It'll really just kind of depend on scheduling because I want to make sure we have a good growth phase. I'll probably want to do like a little mini cut for my wedding and honeymoon or whatever.
Yep.
And then obviously have some time, some downtime in between off season and prep. So
Right.
um, sometime in that early circuit, whether that's junior nats, universe. I will say that there's a regional show in Evansville, so I'll have to requalify.
Yeah.
To
Yeah. I have a
count the,
competitor going there this year. So yeah, I know
yeah,
that one. It's a really good one.
yeah, so that if I did that regional show in May, that would set me up really well to I think do Universe a couple
Mm-hmm.
weeks later. I'd
I'm
have to
pretty sure
double
that's the
check.
earliest one. Yeah, it's that universe
Yeah,
one.
so that's an idea, but again, it's so far away. We just know we're going to want to attack those early national shows for sure.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Well, that's awesome to see. And like I love the objectiveness too. Like
yeah,
you're not totally like, some people come off those stages and they're just like, oh well, I just need a little bit of this, or the judging kind of got me. Like you're somebody that's very
yeah,
objective about it. And you can't help but be it's nice to see and nice to hear in the bodybuilding community because we don't
thank
always
you.
have that. So yeah, that's quite awesome to see, brother. Well, for me personally, I'm excited to see you get back on stage whenever that time might come. I think that you personally really made a statement this year, and that's
Thank you.
obviously part of the reason why I wanted you to be on this podcast because I think it's gonna be the first of many for you, brother. Like you are going to
Thank
be
you.
a very good pro when that time comes, and I know that you're a man of God and faith, and just
Yeah.
trusting the plan and what He has in store for all of us is really really remarkable. So
Yeah, that's been huge. I will. That's one thing I'll touch on really quickly about this
yeah,
prep is, I think a lot of people view prep as a time that takes away from your life, and I tried to take a different approach and see how prep could actually add value to my life in other areas. of, just not bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my fiance grew a ton in our faith during this contest prep season, which was really awesome. We got plugged into a church, into a small group, went through some different programs that just really challenged us in our faith. And, I think that was something that was really able to help keep me grounded and objective. And, what truly matters in life, we're choosing to do this.
Right.
So, that was definitely something that I felt very grateful that we were able to experience in the midst of, a long contest prep. So,
Yeah, most definitely. Well, that's
yeah,
awesome to hear, man. Like I said, it's really impressive what you guys put together this season. Something special, and I think that's what it is. It's the start of something special for sure.
yeah,
So that's really awesome to see. And then I did go ahead and I went
yeah.
ahead and put you in this Google Doc, which I think I actually there it is. Yeah. So I have your column here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the upcoming Arnold Classic.
I can't
Um,
wait.
yeah, this is going to be a really good show. Really deep lineup between. I mean, the Olympians you have here is just absurd, but it's
Yeah,
really just incredible what we have. Tonio's unfortunately out of it.
yeah,
But outside of that, I mean, this is still a great crop of guys.
yeah.
Do you have any standouts in your mind that really will make a statement at this stage? Like I personally think it's going to be Martin, but do you have anybody that you think of?
Yeah, there's one guy in particular that I think is going to make a statement, not because I think he's a front runner to win the show, but I think Anthony Williams is really going to be someone that kind of puts himself on the map this year.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's coached by John Jewett. This guy is so impressive. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a tall guy, and I know he's a tall guy too. You see him standing next to John; he just looks like a
Yeah,
giant.
just an absolute giant, right?
But I mean, this guy is so impressive. I mean, not only is he aesthetic, but he's super dense as a new pro, which is uncommon. And he's just,
Mhm.
conditioning, working with John Jewett. I know he's going to be peeled and peaked perfectly, but this guy, I'm really excited to see him climb through the pro ranks. I think this is a guy, in a couple years who's going to be at the Olympia for sure.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Big structure, but I don't think he's quite there yet in terms of battling out for a win. But I could absolutely see him sneak into that first call out if
Oh,
someone
nice.
cuts it off.
Right. Right. I mean, he does have a great structure, and that's something we discussed last podcast was that he's somebody that can really turn some heads here.
Yeah,
Even with that discussion, I know that it looks like Jared had him second to last. I had him in eighth personally.
yeah,
But that could be a toss up in my opinion. And obviously, as we get closer to the show, as more updates come out, heck, even just looking at the most recent ones I just saw, I almost want to put him ahead of Mofuda just because how crazy I mean, this is going to be a really good look for him, I think, as well.
yeah. I mean, gosh, I mean, you just look at the proportions, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely with you though. Like, you look at there's a little bit of thinness through the posterior chain. Like, I definitely think he needs to add a little bit more thickness to the back.
Yeah.
The
Right.
hamstrings, I think, could maybe use a little bit more density. But you look at his quads, his arms, his chest. I think his lats are very good as well. It's more of just a thickness thing
Yeah.
in his back. But I mean, this guy has all the attributes of becoming a good pro one day. It's kind of similar to an Andrew Jack in a way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. I could see that's actually a really good comparison with his proportions and his size.
yeah,
I feel like he might even be in some areas a bit more dense than Andrew. I
I
think
agree.
Andrew has that pop, but I think that
Yeah,
Anthony really helps with that density. So that's a
for
good take.
sure. And he can pose. I think that's one of Andrew's
Yeah.
problems. Is he can't pose. So
Yep. Yep.
guy looks
He
to be
can't
showing his
pose.
physique the best way he can.
Right. I think Andrew, if he could get that posing down, we'd be talking about a whole different bodybuilder. Potentially, we talk about a Mr. Olympia if he could get
Yeah,
that posing down. But yeah, man,
absolutely.
we can go ahead and run through. Obviously, like I said, Tonio Burton is not in this lineup here, but
Yeah,
we can go ahead and run through your Arnold predictions and who do you have personally in 10th based off this lineup here?
10. So yeah, we got 4, 7, 4, 7, 11, but then take out Tonio. So yeah, we're working from. I like this. We're gonna work from the ground up,
Yep,
right?
ground up here.
I think last place. I'm probably gonna have Hassan.
Okay.
Obviously, he's huge, but conditioning has been a big problem for him over the last couple of years. So yeah, I'll probably have Hassan in 10th.
Gotcha.
Um,
Control V. There we go. Hassan there, and I think that's a good take. I think we all had him really low just because he unfortunately just can't ever get the conditioning down.
Yeah.
And
You talk about a guy that's heavily muscled, he gets in condition. I mean, that's a scary thought, right?
right, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he's 300 on like 300 plus on stage, no problem. And he's somebody that again he has a great like dense muscle to him, and
Yeah.
that's something I'm not going to take away from him. Also, this is actually a day ago, but even at that dense muscle, I mean, yes, some vascularity is there, but it's not exactly the dugout sense that we're really looking for with him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely think that's probably a safe bet there. Obviously, no disrespect to him, great bodybuilder, but
Right.
with this deep of a lineup, I think that's probably who I'd have in 10th.
Gotcha. And then we go back to the lineup here. Let's see. There we go. So Hassan in 10th, and
Yeah,
then who do you have placing ninth, brother?
this is going to sound crazy to say, but I think in 9th I'm going to have Akeem there.
Hakeem. Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Um,
It's only crazy because of I think you and I have the last two similar as well. It's only
yeah,
crazy because Akeem is somebody that's been around for so long, and
legend.
oh yeah, legend in the sport. I mean, he's been here for. I mean, I don't think he's missed an Olympia since really his debut, which is pretty impressive when you consider it all.
Yeah,
But with that said, I mean, age. I don't know. I mean, you can't say age is caught up too much, but I think it's just his back's receding a little bit, and
yeah,
you see those high lat inserts, and it makes it a bit more difficult.
yeah,
And obviously, I do think that when it comes to um, the judges perspective, you know, we see all these new guys coming in with like
yeah,
crazy 3D muscle density, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's a new guy, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So they're looking for that as well. So but Akeem is a very highly regarded pro, and by all means he's somebody that I'm glad that he's in this lineup for sure, just for the sense of quality lineup, you know.
yeah. No, that's a great point. You hit the nail on the head there. I think you just have so much talent in the open class right now. So many new guys that are making a name for themselves. That guys like Akeem that are just have been around forever and have done very very well. Probably don't have a lot left in terms of improvement they can make to their physique.
Right.
So if your peak is off just by a little bit, I think the consequences of that could be pretty drastic. And I think that's been something with Akeem I've been noticing lately is his peaks have been pretty inconsistent in terms of just conditioning
Yep.
and fullness. So yeah, I'm going to have him there. That's going to be kind of like my first kind of controversial take, I guess you could say.
Yeah, understandable. And I don't think it's too controversial, honestly, considering how deep this lineup is. I mean, we have some really heavy hitters in here, and I personally I put Anthony Williams in eighth. Are you going
Yeah.
that same route, or are you going somebody else there?
Let's see. So
Go back to
we
that
go back
lineup
to the
for you.
lineup here. Yeah. I feel like I always make a better guess when I can see everyone just right in front of me. So um I'm definitely between Anthony or um Mo.
Yep,
Mo looks crazy right now, and
he
he's working
does.
with Patrick now, right?
Yes, he's working with I think Patrick Tour. Yeah. So this was a week ago, and this is an improved physique for him for sure.
Yeah, of
No doubts
course.
about it. I mean, those legs came up for sure. Um, I always was a little hesitant about his back. However, I mean, this guy, I mean, the density's there for sure.
Yeah.
For some
Back looks like
reason,
it's came up a little bit.
yeah, it actually has. Because I remember last time we saw him on stage, I swear the upper, like it was real, it looked like he had high inserts because the upper back was so developed and the lower wasn't.
Yeah.
It looks like this last offseason, he really put some work in and changed that narrative. And he's got a very
Gosh.
impressive shot.
Yeah, that's tough. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give the nod. Uh, what? Let me see that Chicago Pro
Oh, Chicago Pro lineup.
win there.
Yeah, I gotcha. Let me pull him back up here. This guy right here.
Yeah. Does he have any comparison pictures with
Let me. I could probably scroll down and find some. For some reason, he didn't
you're
have any
fine, yeah.
there.
go through all that. I'm just the thing that I'm thinking about right now is I know Mo structurally isn't a big guy,
Right.
and so I'm almost thinking with some bigger guys in the mix, like
Here's some state shots there.
Brandow, Andrew Jack, Anthony Williams, if maybe he won't get slightly lost in the mix with those big structure guys.
Right.
But I think I'm going to go ahead and give. Gosh, I don't know. Well, I'll be a little different. I'll put Mo in eighth.
Put Mo in eighth. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a really impressive physique, and it's we say eighth, and like it sounds like it's really
Right.
low, but whenever you consider this lineup, man, it is eighth's
Yeah.
a respectable placing without a doubt.
You've got the top, essentially the top, what, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Got Nick, Hottie, Martin, Andrew, Brandon, Tony. Well, Tonio not anymore. So yeah, essentially like 5 guys that were in that top spot at the Olympia.
Oh yeah, right. And you could argue those guys could flip. Like I know a lot of people thought
Yeah.
that Curry could have beaten Nick at the Olympia. People thought that Martin deserved that fourth place comparison with Samson. So there's so many different kind of storylines going into this Arnold Classic with the lineup being so deep that makes this just that much more interesting, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if I'm Mo in eighth, I'll probably go Anthony Williams in seventh.
Okay. And that's a heck of a debut in this lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to kind of take this as more of an emotional pick because I think
That's like I said, I think that
yeah,
Anthony's one of those guys that is just he's going to come out here and make some noise in his first showing. And I for some reason I thought he worked with Tour, but with him working with Jewett, I really think that this is going to be a pretty lights out showing, honestly, because
yeah,
Jewett really revitalized Sean Carita's career, and
yeah.
coming off of Sean Carita that I think he won like what 3 shows in a row, like between the China, Japan. I thought he won something before Mexico. Or no, Tony won Mexico. I forget, but
Yeah.
either way, with him going through that and just like basically
Yeah.
doing the gauntlet and just going crazy with Jewett, I think that he's really making a name for himself as a really top level coach here.
I agree. I can see a long coaching career once he's done with competitive bodybuilding as well. I think he's going to become the next, Patrick, those top guys, the Hanis, the
The
Jansons,
Cetos, right?
Cetos. Like I think he's going to eventually establish himself as one of those go-to guys. Once his own personal career is over, for sure.
Yeah, he's making waves, man, and it's working with this guy to start out. It's a hell of a way to do it. So, yeah, that's pretty incredible. And
Yeah,
then
and this is where things get hard.
this is the dicey part. We had a lot of we all kind of had Raphael and Curry with our 5th and 6th spots.
Yeah.
Just because that top 4, it seems like such a lock. But with Curry,
Yeah.
you just never know. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know when this guy's going to drop the ball, but we keep on waiting on him to drop the ball, and he seems to just continuously bring in that perfect conditioning and muscle bellies that won him that 2019 Olympia. Yeah. So this is just he doesn't have much updates, I don't think. Let me see if he has anything on the story. No. What is this? This might be recent. I can't. It says 2-3 days ago, but I don't really. Kind of looks a little bit younger, but I can't tell. But Curry, yeah, he's somebody that's just really remarkable, and yeah, that makes it a really interesting take between him and Brandow. Are those your 5th and 6th there, Raphael and Curry, or do you have somebody else dropping the ball here? Oh, may have lost you. Let me see.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you back?
Hey, sorry, I don't know what happened. I lost connection for a second.
Oh, you're all good. No worries. I did go through Brandon's page. I didn't see any recent updates there. He just has this kind of tricep pull down video, but as we were kind of saying before you got dropped off, that he really is somebody that just he's been consistent as of late. He's really like revitalized his career in that sense,
Yeah. it's crazy because I think he's like high 40s.
Yeah, yeah, early 40s without a doubt. I think is he
Yeah,
high 40s or is he I don't know.
I think you're right. I think he's probably earlier 40s. I think I was thinking of Breon because I know Breon's like 47. I think
Yeah,
Brandon is
Breon's he's 43. He's 43. That's pretty, that's up there.
43.
And
Yeah.
Breon is 47, which is crazy that he looks
Yeah.
how he looks at that age.
Right.
Um, it's a shame that he's going to 212 because I would have loved to seen him in this classic lineup personally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, right? Because again, just like open, you've got so many new guys in classic that are starting to make a name for themselves. And I
Mhm.
think the IFBB is making a statement that they're just kind of going in a new direction.
Right.
Um, he's never placed out of what the top five until
Yeah.
this year. He
Until
got like,
this year.
yeah, he got like 11th or something. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so I think it's just a clear statement. But yeah, hats off to Brandon for still making improvements at 43 years old. It's pretty crazy as an
Yeah.
open guy.
It is pretty crazy to see him just continuously truck along. And like I said, there's no updates there. Do you have where do you have Kurt or who do you have in your sixth place? I guess rather I should ask before I
Yeah,
assume.
it's tough too because Brandow's been away from the stage for a little while, right?
Yeah,
So that's obviously a tough call to make, placing him. Who is he going to show up drastically improved from his last showing, or was that time off actually going to hurt him? So, I think based off this lineup, um, gosh, I think I'm going to have to put Brandon in sixth.
okay.
Um, I think Raphael just again he's really big structurally. He's got really good proportions, and from what I remember, he comes in pretty conditioned. And I think being a bigger guy is going to be a good thing in this lineup. So
Yep.
I'll go Brandon sixth, and then I'll probably, like I said, have Brandow fifth.
Gotcha. That is a pretty concise. I think that across the board, we all kind of agreed there, which makes all of our top fours that Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, Heidi Chupan, and Martin Fitzwater.
Yeah,
So no surprise, I think. I think that's a pretty much a lock for the top four.
yeah,
And as long as all of them come in on point, I think that that's pretty much a lock. If somebody slips, like say an Andrew drops conditioning or say a Nick drops conditioning, you could see Brandow or Curry really sneak in there, in my opinion.
agree.
But I think if we're all planning on their best, that's your lock for top four for sure.
Yeah, and this, I honestly had no idea coming into this who I was going to pick to win it. So
Yeah,
this is where things get tough. And yeah, I mean, you pull up Nick here. I mean, I'm a huge Nick fan. I understand that this isn't the wave of bodybuilding right now. The wave right now is the big structure, nice aesthetics. That's kind of been the wave.
the
But
way that we've
I
had.
mean, Nick is he's one of my favorites. It was a shame, him not having his best showing at the Olympia because I think that Pittsburgh Nick arguably beat Derek and could arguably have maybe won the Olympia title for all we know.
Yeah,
So
I definitely agree. And that was somewhere I was in person for that prejudging. I didn't go back to finals that evening because I'd gone to propose to my fiance. But
yeah,
at prejudging, it was a pretty, I think the across the board, the audience had all agreed that it was pretty much like Nick all day.
yeah,
He came out with that energy. He came out just looking bang on, and it was without a doubt his best look to date.
yep,
I know that he has since obviously dropped Kyle Wilkes, and he's since stated that he prefers his 2021 Arnold look. I don't necessarily know if that looks quite possible anymore at this age for
yeah,
him. I know he's younger, but to get back like that, the waist, and to get back how I feel like his abs were a bit more defined at that look as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but I mean, dude, if you bring the Pittsburgh look, something similar to it, I think that's his best look. I think that beats the Arnold look in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I don't think he's gonna ever say that his best look was with a coach that he just dropped, right? So I'm
Right.
sure that Arnold comment is probably there's a little bit of emotion behind it, but
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer the Pittsburgh look because he's a little bit bigger, a little bit denser. His waist was under control. Um, yeah, so
I mean,
This
it's
is
even
tough.
his profile picture. Now that I look at it, it's still his profile picture is the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
look. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something to
Yeah.
consider. Here's a little Pittsburgh video there. And as
Gosh.
like I said, I was in person for this, and like as soon as you saw that back bicep lock in, especially next to Derek,
Yeah.
it was pretty concise that it was like, okay, Nick's got this. So
Yeah.
um yeah, that's
Agreed.
somebody that is just absolutely an absolute freak. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever
Gosh.
seen this photo. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick is looking really good for where he's at as well. And then we go to Martin, who hasn't dropped as many. Oh yeah, I gotta actually search him. He hasn't dropped as many updates, but he is somebody that um, obviously made waves winning that Prague Pro this year.
Yeah.
And I personally think that like it's might be crazy to say, but I think he's the next coming of Phil Heath. I think it's just a matter of time before he takes that crown and runs with it.
Yep.
But
I actually had him beating Derek at the 2024 Olympia when he got fourth and Derek got third.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then this past Olympia, I actually had him beating what was because he was in fifth and Samson was in fourth, right?
Yep,
I actually think I had him beating Samson as
yep.
well.
I did
I'm a
too.
huge Martin fan. I think he's everything that you would want out of a Mr. Olympia. He's heavily muscled. He's still very aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
When they peak right, his conditioning is perfect. That's been the only drawback on Martin is he's been a little inconsistent with his peaks.
Right.
So you get some different looks with Martin, but I mean this right here. I mean this is you talk about
Incredible.
a little bit more time. That's Mr. Olympia right there, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and I totally agree. I think you and I agree on that sense. I think that it's only a matter of time before he really takes the IFBB by storm. And
Yep.
he's already this year he really made a big wave by beating Samson. And I know Matt and I had talked, and he says that I think that it's pretty consolidated that it's going to be Martin and then Samson after Martin from now on.
Yep.
We'll see obviously what that looks like at the Olympia this year, but. I mean, it's just he's the next coming of Phil. I just
Yeah.
don't think there's any doubt about it. And he's
Yeah.
young too. I don't think he 30 yet or
Oh no, I think he's probably around Nick's age, so like upper 20s, like 28
he's got
maybe.
so much time.
I
So
don't even
much
think he's
time.
30 yet. Yeah. So I know he went pro, I think, pretty young. Like I think he
Mm-hmm.
went pro at like 24,
Yeah, 24, 25, I
something
thought
like
too.
that. Yeah. So you talk about a young guy who still has his prime ahead of him for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then you have
Oh,
Hadi Chupan. So
yeah.
this is kind of a toss up at the moment just because of everything going on in the Middle East. And
Yeah.
obviously, like his visa situation is always something to talk about there. His visa might get approved, might not. But regardless, I think that even with all the visa talk, he's always brought that bang on conditioning, regardless,
I
not even
know.
stressing about it. It's almost like he knows in the back of his head, like, oh, I can get that visa. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
people say. Um, but with that said, Iran is in a bit different of a state than it's been before. I know that
Yeah.
there was something about the power going out where I mean, I think it might still be out because I think his last post, he has nothing on the story, and this was 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a scary situation over there. And obviously,
Yeah.
we're praying for everyone's well being. But in the sense of bodybuilding terms only, he's been consistent. He's a former Mr. Olympia, and he's been somebody that's been fighting for that Olympia title again the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Where do you think, based off of those three guys, and then obviously you have Andrew Jacked as well?
Yeah.
Um, Let me go pull him up real quick, and then we can get your thoughts on them. He's posted some updates training recently. I mean, this guy is
Gosh.
just freaky.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a guy, that you would like if you would pick one physique to walk around looking like, it's Andrew Jack. Be
Yeah,
6'3", 300 pounds, broad arm, just crazy freaking
crazy
arm.
arms, small waist, developed
Small waist.
abs. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, insane.
And this guy is, yeah, I think that everyone. is pretty concise that he's came into his own,
Yeah.
really with the conditioning. And I do agree to that point. I know last podcast, and I do stick to my prediction that we only seen him come in conditioning. I said, I think twice. It's technically three times to the Texas Pro as well.
Yeah.
But we've only seen it three times.
Yeah.
With that said, it led me to place him. I believe, where did I put him? I did put him in fourth, and I put Hottie
Yeah.
in third with their whole situation that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But Andrew, if he came in condition, I have no doubts that he'd probably win this show.
Yeah.
I mean, looking like an absolute monster and just shredded and peeled, and bringing the Olympia look to stage is obviously probably his goal. But
Yeah.
I mean, this Romania look was even really solid for him.
Yeah. I think he was a little bit bigger for this Romania look than he was for the Olympia, a little bit fuller.
Yep.
Um,
Lost a little bit of detail doing such, but nothing, not too crazy. I think he
Still a
still
great
had,
look.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Still a great look for him.
Yeah. It's funny, man. I think you and me are going to be pretty on par with our predictions. I think you and me see bodybuilding very similarly.
Yep.
Um, I think it's so hard to put Hottie anywhere other than first or second.
Right.
But you have started to see, I think, a decline in his physique, especially the legs, and the back as well. So I definitely think I have Andrew and Hottie as those third and fourth spots. Where I'm putting them is the tough one because, again, Hottie's Mr. Consistent. He's been in the league for so long, but again, we're seeing the IFBB start to make statements across the divisions, right?
Right.
And who knows, maybe this is the show where they start to pass the torch to the younger guys. So I'm gonna go out on the limb and say Hottie in fourth, which sounds barbaric to say.
It is crazy, but I'm in the same boat. And honestly, whenever we go back to touch up, I think our next podcast is the 31st. I'm probably going to make that switch as well.
Yeah.
Because that is just with everything he's dealing with right now, and even beyond bodybuilding, like I said, praying for all safety over there in Iran. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, it's difficult to look at the current state that we have. I mean, we only have the most recent updates, the training with his son 3 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
then this message that I believe is about that power being cut out and the government
Yeah.
going through all their issues. So honestly, at this point, I would almost lean to him probably not making it.
Yeah.
But with the idea of him making it and the thoughts that he somehow finds a way, there's just no way he could be 100%, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just no way.
Agreed. On top of a physique, like I said, that has probably started to go downhill over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's not really going to be making improvements at this point in his career. He's been doing this a long time. So,
Right.
yeah, I think I'd probably have Hottie in fourth and then probably Andrew in third. As I'm right there with you. I think it's still too early for me to bank on Andrew bringing that conditioning every single time. I think we need to see that a little bit more consistently for me to be able to say he's the front runner to win the Arnold. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah, our predictions are very, very similar there, I'd say. Just to switch we changed a few of them, but like I said, I got to go back through mine because I almost would bet that he's unfortunately not going to make it, but we'll have to just wait and see as we get closer. That'll probably be like a 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out type of call. But yeah, I agree with you completely on that Andrew Jack statement. I mean, he's only done it 3 times, man, and he is older. I mean, I don't want to just completely skip past that point. I'm pretty sure he's early 40s, like 42, 43.
Yeah.
So there's only so many more improvements that he can do. And we see it all the time with I mean, him, Andrew, Justin Shire, like these are all guys that came into the league at an older age. I think Brett Wilkin as well. I'm pretty sure he's not super old, but he came in at a later time. So that's something that you have all those guys that come in later. We always think like, oh, there's still so much more improvement to do, but Father Time is undefeated. He really is. So
for sure,
it'll
especially
be interesting.
in a big frame like that.
Oh yeah. This big frame for him too. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So that leads you to the top 2, similar top 2 that I have between Nick and Martin. and these guys went at it at the Olympia. It wasn't Nick's best. Martin, I would say at that point it was his best,
Yeah,
and then he
agreed.
went to a whole nother level in Prague a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
But those are your top two. Who do you have fighting for that first place spot?
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, which talk about a storyline. Nick and Martin, rivals in the sport, that being your top two. Could see
Mm-hmm.
them going through rounds and rounds like they did with Derek and Nick at Pittsburgh. I think that would make a great storyline. But I think I'm going to give the win to Nick here. I think Nick is going to be coming into the show pissed off. Obviously, something to prove. I do think there is some stock in him coaching himself
Mm-hmm.
for his kind of physique. Um, he is a guy that if he's not full, hard, and conditioned, quickly gets lost in the mix. And I do think that he's one of those very objective bodybuilders that can be just that can be objective when viewing his own physique and say, hey, I need to pull back here. Or I need to push a little bit more here.
Right.
I think he's by far the most muscular guy on that stage. Um, and I think if he brings in the conditioning, which his trademark conditioning of years past, and is able to nail his peak, which is a big if, being coaching yourself, I think that he will stand out. And Martin's similar to Andrew in the sense where he has been a little inconsistent with his peaks over the years. It
Yep.
seems like they're starting to get the formula right. Obviously with the Prague and Olympia, showings. But I think I want to continue to see that. And Martin's also a guy that has never really taken a true off season. He competes a lot.
He does.
So I think it's going to be hard for him to really bring in a improved package from when was Prague? Just early December.
Yeah, early December. It hasn't been long. It really
Yeah,
hasn't.
I mean you can
You can't
catch some
really
quick
bring much improvement,
rebounds,
right?
but
It's going to be
yeah,
more like about trying to replicate that peak.
yeah, exactly. So at that point, I'm like, are we really going to see? I think if all things are consistent, Nick does have more muscle than Martin, so it's really just about conditioning and peaking at that point. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Nick.
Okay. I like it. So we have Nick in first and Martin in second for you.
Yeah,
Very similar to what I have there. Um,
you had Martin winning, right?
yeah, I had Martin in second as well.
Oh, okay.
But I
You got
will
Nick
say,
winning.
yeah, I do have Nick winning in
Okay,
mine.
nice. Yeah,
But I will say Martin is somebody that, I mean, it could be a coin toss between those two. I feel like,
absolutely.
those guys are just so elite. And, we say that Martin's the next Phil Heath. I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that Nick would be like the next Kai in that sense, where he'll be
Yeah,
rivaling him, like
yeah,
those two will be 1 and 2 for a while. And then obviously we have guys like Derek, who
yeah,
is a
of
Mr. Olympia.
course.
He's current Mr. Olympia. But we would like to see improvement upon Derek's look to
Yeah,
really solidify that.
for sure. For sure. I think Derek is, he's one of my favorite physiques in the IFBB for sure. Obviously, being a Indiana guy, always want to root for him.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Right.
will say both wins have came at Olympias where we've had a lot of people be off.
Right.
And so I think that in order for us to say that Derek is kind of the clear front runner in terms of Olympia favorites, we, like you said, we're going to need to see some improvements from his physique, through the adductors, the quads, a little bit more density, the chest and shoulders, a little bit more separation.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, it's Mr. Olympia.
It
So
is. And you can't deny that. I mean, at the end of the day, he is the current Mr. Olympia. He's technically, I say technically, but he is. He is the best bodybuilder in the world. Regardless if you love him, you hate him, you don't necessarily agree with the judging. At the end of the
yeah,
day, I mean, this is, regardless how you look at it, it is an incredible physique.
yeah,
And he's somebody that he works hard. He's a man of God as well.
yes,
And that's something that, I think that no matter how you look at it, Derek is somebody that puts his heart and soul into this.
yeah,
He wants to be great. He wants to be known as one of the best. And I think that given a little bit more attention to detail, I think, is kind of the right words for it. I don't know
Yes.
exactly. It's just something about his physique that, yes, it's very impressive, but we want to see just a little bit more sharpness, maybe a little bit more. I know chest size was a big thing, a little bit more detail and size in the chest. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, this is a remarkable physique. You know, you can't
Yeah.
deny that. So,
Of course. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be here for years to come for sure. He's another young guy, so
yep,
God willing, everyone stays healthy and whatnot. I think we're going to have a couple guys that are going to be battling for the next 5-10 years, right?
most
So
definitely.
yeah, that's
Heck
awesome
yeah,
picture.
brother. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man, to come on here. Again, I know that this is it's a time commitment and it's something that
Oh
you take out of
no,
your day, man. So I really appreciate that on this behalf. Before we get out of here, do you want to plug anything? I know that you do work for with Clinical Labs. Let me
yeah,
actually reshare that. I'm going to go ahead and go to your profile and I'll go to their Instagram here, Clinical Labs. What all supplements do you take from them, and what do you really enjoy about them?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been with Clinical Labs since 2023. Based out of Lexington, Kentucky. Previously worked with Tyler Bedson, who's an awesome guy as well. He's one of the three owners within the company. It just ran by some really great people and very quality products. That was something when I had committed to a sponsor, I wanted to ensure there were products I actually believed in and stood behind and actually wanted to use. Right,
Right.
so really great brand, up and coming. I honestly take the kitchen sink from them. I would say my favorite products, they're going to sound a little unorthodox, but my favorite product from them is actually the cortisol support.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm someone who deals with high cortisol. I don't know if that's me being an anxious individual or just from the training, my body has a hard time regulating cortisol. Obviously, I know there's tons of things that can play into that, sleep, gut health, but those things
Right.
have been managed and been well for me. So I actually take the cortisol support first thing in the morning and kind of helps keep me mellow throughout the day. They say to take it at night to help us sleep, but I'm kind of the opposite. I want to chill out during the day.
Right.
Um, their pre-workout is awesome. I take their whole health line, liver support, cortisol support, multivitamin. They just came out with a um, uh, D3 K2
Yep.
blend that I've been taking. D3 K2, yeah. Their sleep support's awesome. But yeah, their pre-workout EAAs and the pump support. Pump support's an awesome one as well. It's actually a pill form, which is a little bit different,
Right.
but it's awesome. So yeah, definitely check them out. I have a code with them. It's Hunter 10 if you guys want to take a look at some of their products, support a local company and great people. So
Awesome, man. Greatly appreciate
yeah,
that. And that's something I can attest to as well. The cortisol control.
yeah,
My last few weeks of prep were really stressful. And Brad had mentioned that and said that you had taken it before. And that was something that it made a difference almost immediately for me too. So
yeah,
yeah, like he said, code Hunter 10, correct?
yeah,
Yep,
yep.
Hunter 10 for Clinical Labs. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for making it to the end of this video. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And Hunter, again, I want to thank you for your time, man. Taking time to do some predictions with me, kind of run down your story. And yeah, man, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, had a blast, man. Appreciate you having me on. We'll have to do it again soon. So, I got
Most
some
definitely.
traveling coming up, but would love to come back on once I'm back in the States. So,
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it, man. We'll maybe get you back to, we can revisit those Arnold
yeah,
predictions, maybe get Matt and
closer in
Jarrett
time.
too. So,
Love it.
awesome, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Awesome. See you, brother.
See you.